All right, good evening, everyone. Hope it wasn't so stressful getting here with all the holiday traffic on the way. This really can be a stressful time of year. It's a joyous time of year, but can also be pretty stressful, which is why we have scheduled this to help you understand the stresses that may be going on in your life, how we can minimize them as much as possible by making healthier decisions and creating healthier lifestyle habits, so that way your body is functioning and adapting at its best, right? Because that's really what we're all about, is being at our optimum health potential. Because when you're there, not only do you feel great, but you're healthy, you're thriving, you're the best version of yourself, and you're able to show up for all the things that you want to enjoy through the holiday season and into next year. We want to build some momentum into 2024 here, right? We want to start setting our intentions for what next year and the next years of our life is going to be like. And who here wants to have healthy, thriving, great years? Raise your hand. All right, so you came to the right place. That's why we're here. Who wants to be tired, suffering, in pain, on a bunch of medications, in and out of the doctor's office? Raise your hand. Nobody. And that's what we want to avoid, right? By applying the things that you learn here, by taking action and changing the way you live your life, you can choose your reality. You can choose to be healthy and thriving and living your best life, or you can choose to be suffering, in pain, sickness, and disease, right? All the things that you said you don't want and all the things you want over here. So today is not just about gathering some information and taking some notes. It's about taking action. And I know you're action takers because you showed up, so you should give yourselves a round of applause just for being here. That's it. Right? Showing up is half the battle. When you consistently show up for yourself, you're already taking action. You're reinforcing these things, telling yourself that my health is a priority. And when you start using your precious resources, time, energy, focus, money towards your health, it actually helps you get over here to living that amazing life. But when you let the stresses of life take over, you stop doing the things that are necessary and you stop investing in yourself, right? That's why we're here. So the reason why we exist in this office, the reason why we do health workshops like this, is that way you and your family can feel empowered to live a healthy life naturally. You can actually understand how to avoid these stresses and how to take better action and have the guidance that you need to be the hero of your health journey. Because that's the coolest part. It's your body that does the healing. We are all designed to be healthy and to thrive, not to be sick and in pain and degenerating. And so when you get your body back to that healthy state, that's when things do well. So we spend all kinds of time looking up the most cutting edge natural holistic research on how your body works and how to help it function better. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, excellent. So let's just look at some of the statistics at this time of year, the holiday stress. So they actually did a recent survey where they looked at over 1,000 different types of people, and 8 in 10 said this time of year is the most stressful time of year, and they feel that stress burden pushing on them. 8 out of 10. That's a lot, right? That may be you, that may be your friends at work, that may be your neighbors, your family, your friends, the people that are around you. And stress isn't just something that you feel, it's something that affects your health and your function. So when you look at this bottom chart here, right, these are the health changes physiologically that are measured from these same people, right? Physical health, this is how you feel, your joints, your physical activity. For women, over 30% worse. Men, pretty close to that as well. Mental health, stress, anxiety, depression, right? That's going up this time of year. The highest for women. And then sleep, right? We did that sleep workshop. Who came to that last month? Who's been sleeping better since then? Yeah, same people, right? Because if you apply what you learn, it actually works. Pretty amazing. This is the same way, right? So this doesn't have to be our reality. We don't have to feel more stress at this time of year. We don't have to feel the effects of stress on our health through any time of the year, as long as we remember to have a plan and to execute on that plan and stay consistent, right? That's why we're here, is to not only show you what to do, but help hold you accountable to do the things you know you should do. So many times we know we should do something, but we don't do it, right? And so that's when you need that little extra push. You need that little extra guidance. You need that support that says, hey, let's do this and let's be consistent with it, because it's the compounding effects of habits that really change things. And when we look at the medical research, 90% of all diseases, illness, and the things and effects you feel are caused by stress. So if we can address stress alone, 90% of what plagues you and the people you know and care about can be eliminated. Pretty awesome, right?
Yep.
You can eliminate 90% of problems just by applying what we learned here today. So first you want to understand, how does the body work? What is the stress response? Well, when you're under stress, physiologically a lot of things start to happen. And you probably experienced these things before, right? Your blood pressure goes up, right? You've been there in a stressful time, your heart starts beating faster, you're breathing at a higher rate, your blood pressure is going up. So what's happening, the things that you don't feel under the surface, the very important to understand is that inflammation goes up, right? So when you're stressed more often, things are going to hurt more, right? That old knee injury, that back problem, the ankle, headaches, whatever it is, wherever your body's the weakest, is going to be in more pain. Melatonin, which is what helps you with sleep, is going to go down, which means you're not going to sleep as good. Your cholesterol is going to go up, right? You're going to have thicker blood, which means less energy. Your insulin sensitivity is affected, so you're not processing sugars as well, which means you're likely to gain more weight. And it weakens the systems of your body, including your immune system, which is why more people get sick this time of year than any other time. So when we look at some of the other things that are happening, the stress hormone production starts going up. So these negative stress hormones in our body start to get to a critically high level, right? Which really starts to weaken, especially this immune system, right? That's what we want to pay attention to the most, because stress is one of the things that weakens your immune system the most, right? If you ever had that stressful time, and then all of a sudden you have that crash right after, boom, you're sick, right? You had that deadline at work, boom, next week you were sick. You had family over for the holidays, things were crazy for like a week and a half, boom, you're sick, right? That's why that happens, because you have this huge rise in stress hormones and it comes crashing down, and so does your immune system at the same time. So part of not getting sick and not getting the cold and the flu or COVID or whatever else is going on is reducing the stresses in your life so your immune system is stronger, right? Because we're under stress and your body can't escape or eliminate the stress, that's when the effects start showing up. Ongoing chronic stress over time affects your brain and your nervous system, right? And then it creates this negative pathway of your adrenal glands where these stress hormones start burning out, right? So now all the systems that are designed to keep your body operating no longer work well. And what does that lead to? More stress, right? So when you have sustained stress, it creates this negative feedback loop where stress is always going on and your body can't escape it. And if your body's stuck in a perpetual state of stress, that's where the disease and the issues and the long-term problems start showing up. So that's what we want to show you how to change today, right? We don't want to keep going through this pathway over and over again. That's the pathway of sickness and disease and burnout of all the systems of your body, right? And that gets diagnosed by your doctor as some type of medical issue, right? And what do most people take for medical issues?
Pills.
Medications, right? Who ever wants to be taking more pills? Who loves going to the doctor and wants more shots and surgeries? Nobody, right? But that's what you get when you go to the doctor, right? And they're treating the effects. So what we want to focus on is, how do we eliminate stress? How do we repair the brain and nervous system and your body's ability to adapt to stress so you can actually stay well? That's what's so cool, right? Because your body is so intelligently designed and it's so smart that we have all these systems designed to deal with stresses. And when the systems of your body are working well, you actually adapt and things work the way that they should. So these are all the systems that are related to stress: cortisol, blood sugar, adrenaline, digestion, heart rate, and so many more, right? All regulated by stress. So we're going to talk about all these today so you can start to understand how to eliminate the stress and how to make your body start working better. So look at all these things here. Who wants to have more energy? Raise your hand. Yes. Who wants to have healthy, balanced hormones? Yes, everybody. Who wants to have good, healthy digestion, absorbing nutrients, eliminating toxins and waste? Who wants to have a strong immune system, very rarely getting sick, recovering really quick when you do, right? That's the idea of dealing with the stress systems and getting everything connected the way that it's designed. These are all the effects when that's not working well, and we talked about those: immune problems, thyroid, digestion, sleep, chronic inflammation, anxiety, depression, hormone imbalances, chronic infection. This is what starts happening when stress is overwhelming your body and you're feeling the effects. So this is what's called the HPA axis. We're going to talk about this today. This is how your brain connects with your adrenal system and how the nervous system is affecting and being adapted to stress. And these are called body signals. So body signals is your body doing the right thing at the right moment based upon the environment and lifestyle that you live. And we want to pay attention to these things. The worst you can do is cover up or ignore the body signals, because that's your body's communication system. When something's wrong or not working, your body has to tell you, otherwise you wouldn't know. That's why these are so important. And when we look at the body signals, the symptoms, the effects, right? These are not the early things that come on. This is not the first sign of stress. This is the late signs of stress, right? The symptoms is the tip of the iceberg, right? We talked about this last time. We talk about this all the time because it's so important to understand. We're taught to judge our health by how we look and how we feel, and we're ignoring 90% of what's regulating our health and function that's happening under the surface that you don't feel but can be measured and can be affected if you know exactly what to do. So are you listening? Are you listening to what's going on, or are you just ignoring that? I'm too busy to deal with that right now. It's easier to take ibuprofen. It's easier to take a sleep medication. It's easier to take a digestive support or a sleep, right? Whatever that is, it's easier to do that because we're busy. We're stressed. We got stuff to do. I gotta go to work. I gotta do this. I gotta do that, right? So you just do these things, ignoring the signals, but what does that lead to?
Stress.
Leads to worse problems, right? If you have minor problems, uncorrected, compounded over time, become worse problems. And then eventually we get chronic health issues where we're wondering, like, how did I get like this? It wasn't what you did yesterday or last week or maybe even last year. It's probably what you've been doing the last 10 years or maybe the last 20 or 30 years because nobody ever told you. Nobody ever taught you something different. And you never had a doctor that actually guided you through getting and staying well. That's what we do. We are your drug-free doctor. We are here to show you all the things you need to do and help guide you along the way. So pay attention to what's going on. Listen to your body. Don't cover up or ignore the signals, right? Because you're missing what's going on. Right? This is how symptoms really work and how your body functions. This middle part, where you're feeling okay, that's about half of your health potential. Who wants to be hanging out here? Nobody, right? Over here, when you start to notice the signs, these are the early warning signs. This is the every once in a while issue, comes and goes problems. I'm tired a couple of days a week. My digestion's not quite right. It seems minor and not that big of a deal, so it is easy to ignore. It's easy to deal with. It's easy to hope that it just goes away. Right? But over time, it starts to compound, and that becomes more chronic, more painful, starts to interfere with the quality of your life, interfere with the things that you need to do and the things that you want to do. So it's becoming more and more difficult. And then eventually it gets down here where we're in full-blown disease. Right? This is now when you have multiple medical diagnoses, maybe you have disabilities, difficult doing the things or even giving up stuff you used to do, right? And this is a hard road back from here. We don't want to wait till here to start paying attention to our health. And many times people have gone to a lot of doctors along this way looking for answers and solutions, and they're not getting it. They're just getting another diagnosis, another pill, more confusion, no real solutions. So we want to get over here. Right? Who wants to be at their optimum health potential? Raise your hand. Yeah, good. See, that's what we're all about. A lot of people have been to chiropractors before, and they've gone a couple of times. They went 6 or 12 times. They went after an injury. They went for whatever, right, to get a relief or to be able to feel better. But really what it's about, and the reason our office exists, is to help you get over here to that optimum health potential where your body is functioning as good as it can. And the danger of paying attention to just how you feel is this here. We talked about it. 10% of your nervous system senses pain and the signals of symptoms. 10%, that's it. Right? So if we're just focused so hard on this 10%, we're missing 90% of what's actually going on. So number one, most important thing to understand is your health is not how you feel. It's how you function. It's how you function that matters. Right? And that's what we measure. And you don't want to just be feeling good. You want to be functioning well.
Yes.
Exactly. Functioning well is health. Feeling good is not. What's a beneficial side effect of functioning well? You feel good, right?
Yes.
And so you look at what happens on the other side. Every single drug, shot, surgery, everything that you would take to cover up or ignore the symptoms has side effects that are negative. It's going to make you feel worse. It's going to cause more problems. It's going to create more issues. Everything you do to be healthy and function better is going to help you feel better too, and sleep better, and have more energy, and have better digestion, and a stronger immune system, and all these things. So we're not treating all these issues. Your body handles these on your own when you're healthy. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So important to understand that, because when you change the way you view and manage your health, you start making better decisions. Because the last thing you want to do is feel better and quit. Because then where are you going to end up? Right back over here. And that's what most people do. They go on that merry-go-round, right? They do a few things, I feel a little bit better, I quit, I go back to my old style, right? It's about changing who you are and what you do to create a different result, right? Better outcomes come with a better premise. So understand these things. Healthy is normal. Your body is designed to be healthy and it's designed to heal itself. That's what's normal. Your body is smart. It knows what to do. Even if you're experiencing a negative symptom that you don't like, that's your body being smart based upon what's going on. Listen to those signals. Look for the cause, and then we can find a real solution. Your nervous system is the master system. This is what controls the whole show. Your brain and nervous system is what regulates all of this. It regulates how you adapt to stress. It regulates all your cells, tissues, organs. Everything is connected right through here. So we want to make sure this system is working optimally with no interference or minimizing as much as possible. And your spine is what regulates all of that. It's your suit of armor. It protects that brain and nervous system. It regulates the communication, how the brain talks to the body. And because life is stressful, we got to make sure we're taking care of it. And we're going to go through all the stresses today that don't just happen this time of year. Right? You guys may be feeling the stress already. You may be getting close to that time. 2 weeks away till Christmas. It's crunch time right now. I bet you got some shopping to do. Maybe you got some parties to go to. You got guests coming over. You got to wrap up some stuff. Maybe money's tight this time of year. Whatever it is, right? Recognize those things for what they are. We're going to give you some great resources to walk through it. Right? You have these resources we talked about. Time. That's the one thing that's equal for everybody. Right? We all have the same 24 hours a day. What you do with that time is what matters. So many times our life is so stressful, we're pulled in so many directions, we feel like we're always just too thin for everything, going from thing to thing to thing to thing. I felt like that many times, right? You feel like you can never be present and focused, and so it becomes very stressful, always being asked to do more with less. Energy. When you're not feeling well and you got a lot of stress, how much energy do you have?
None.
No. Energy is your capacity to do work. So when you have more energy because your body's healthier, you actually save time because you're more productive in everything that you do. Right? So that's so huge. Taking that energy and investing in your health will allow you to have abundant energy in a multiplier. It's one of the best things that you can do. Right? What about focus? Right? When you're super stressed, are you really focused? No. Are you effective? It's because you're in your hindbrain. The hindbrain is the stress brain. This is your reptilian brain. This is the survival brain. Right? This is not the intelligent brain. This is not solving problems. This is not coming up with solutions. It's not higher level learning and communication. It's basic level survival. That's it. If you're going through life in basic survival mode, you're not doing the best that you can do. You're not showing up at your best. You're not focused and you're not productive, which means you're using more time, you're using more energy, and you're losing more focus. And then money, right? This is a finite resource, but there's an unlimited amount out there to be able to be had. When you have more time and more energy and focus, you can actually create more value in life, which gives you more resources to invest back in yourself, right? And your health is the best investment that you can ever make, because you're going to spend the money anyway, right? You're either going to spend the money later on down the line when you're sick and breaking down. And still to this day, in fact, it's been worsening. The number one expense in retirement is medical bills. It goes up and up and up every single year. Number one cause of bankruptcy, medical bills. And that keeps going up. Doesn't matter if you have insurance. Doesn't matter what your plan is. It goes up and up and up, right? That's for all the people who didn't take care of themselves the rest of the time, right? So if you could spend $1 to save 10, how valuable would that be, right? That's an investment you'd make every day. I put in $1, I get 10 back. Amazing. That's how your health works. You invest time, energy, focus into your health, and you get that back tenfold. And you live a longer, healthier life, which is priceless. So a lot of people, I see these barriers when it comes to their health. I don't have the time. Raise your hand if you've been guilty of saying that. I definitely have. I don't have the time to exercise. I don't have the time to get quality sleep. I don't have the time to go to my appointment. I don't have the time to do my home care. I don't have the time to go shopping for healthier foods. I don't have the time to do this, right? I don't have the energy to do it. I don't feel like it. I'm stressed. I'm in pain. I don't want to do it, right? I'm not focused. I do it for a couple of days and then it falls off for a week or two. There's no plan. There's no guidance, or I can't afford it. Who said that before? Yeah, I can't afford it. Money's tight right now. I'll start next year. I'll start next month, right? you're procrastinating, you're putting it off, and the whole time you're going in this direction. This is so important, right? Because every single decision you make is reinforcing what's important to you. You want to know what's important in your life? It's where you spend these things, right? It's where you spend your time, energy, focus, and money. If your health is a priority, you're going to spend a lot here. If it's not, you're going to come up with all the reasons you can't. Make sense?
Yep.
And you get to choose. I can't do that for you, right? It's up to you to use your resources for the things that are important to you. So you don't get sick, you do sick. Sickness isn't something that you catch. It's not bad luck. Chronic disease isn't your genetics. It's what you did that led to that. And health is the same way, right? You don't get healthy. You don't just all of a sudden, poof, I'm healthy. You do healthy. You live healthy. And that gets you back over here. So the things we're talking about today aren't quick fixes. They're not silver bullets, right? They're not something that you do for a period of time temporarily. These are lifestyle principles that you do for the rest of your life so you can be healthy. Healthy is being, right? We are human beings. You're being healthy. You're doing healthy. And that comes from lifestyle. That comes from change. Got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about how to thrive through the holiday season. Who wants next year to be the healthiest year they've had in a long time? 2024. See, that starts today. That doesn't start January 1st when you're hungover from New Year's Eve, when you really don't actually do anything most of the time. It doesn't start the first week of January. It doesn't start next year. It starts now, right? Now is always the best time to do something that's good for you. So there's two things that we need to do. Number one, reduce stress. So we're going to show you all the different types of stresses that exist in your life and how to start reducing them. Number two, and this is the most important one, improve how your body adapts to stress, right? And that's the physiology. That's what's happening in the nervous system. That's what's functioning, is the ability to adapt. Because two people can be under the same amount of stress, and one gets sick and one doesn't. One has an injury, one doesn't. One's in pain, one's not. Right? It's all based upon your adaptability. So that's what we're going to talk about, is how to help your body better adapt to stress when you're over here and you're healthy. Because when you're sick, your adaptability isn't very good. Every little thing triggers something because your adaptability is so low. As you get healthier and your adaptability goes up, you can do a whole lot more. So when we look at stress, there's three types of stress. There's physical stresses, there's emotional stresses, and there's chemical stresses. And we're into these all the time. There's no way to completely avoid stress. It's not possible. So the goal is to minimize the stress as much as possible. And then we'll go through the things you can do to help your body better adapt. So we're going to talk about some things to stop doing that are the worst for you, that are creating chronic stress. We're going to talk about some things that you can maybe slow down or minimize, and then things that you want to start doing that's going to help your body better adapt. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Everybody got their notes?
Yeah.
Excellent. And so you got a lot of great resources in here, so I want to make sure you take this home with you. So one of the first ones right in here talks about how to not get sick during the holiday season. Pretty important, right? Nobody loves going to Christmas sick. Nobody wants to start the new year off in bed because they got the flu or they got something else. Right? So there's some great things in here. Talks about how stress affects your immune system and things that you can do. Also talks about how to join our Facebook page. So if you're on our Facebook page, we share all kinds of stuff. Healthy tips, videos, workshops, what's coming up, so you can stay connected. Right? By staying connected, it stays top of mind. So that way you stay consistent with what's going on. Right? That's the hardest part sometimes, is consistency. So there's a few things that we believe that are necessary. Right? These are the 5 essentials of max living. Number 1, nutrition matters. What you eat matters. And unfortunately, there's so much toxic, unhealthy foods. It's making a lot of people sick. Toxicity is a problem. Chemical stress. We have toxins everywhere. It's in our food. It's in the air we breathe. It's in the water you drink. It's in all the things that you take, in all your cleaning products. It's in medications. It's so many places, and it's overwhelming our bodies, and it's spilling over as sickness and disease. Movement matters, right? We're designed to move. It's crucial that your body moves on a regular basis because that provides oxygen, that provides blood flow, that keeps the systems working well. And a healthy mindset is vital, right? You got to have healthy thoughts. You got to keep the stresses low. You got to get sleep, right? All these things make a difference, and we got to make sure the nervous system is working properly. You're getting optimum communication from the brain to the body. These are the 5 things that we need to focus on for you to be healthy. So first thing we look at is nutrition. How's the standard American diet?
Trash.
Horrible, right? You leave here and you can throw a rock at 5 fast food restaurants, right? How much quality comes from a burger at McDonald's or a sandwich from Subway, right? Or all these different things, right? They're full of all the toxins we don't want, very low in nutrients, and these things actually keep your body from functioning optimally. So we want to avoid all the ultra processed foods, the 7-Eleven foods, the foods in a bag, the foods in a box, the foods that sit on your shelf for 2 years at a time. Right? There's no nutritional value there. It's full of all kinds of preservatives and toxins, right? A lot of the foods that we eat are way too much, enormous portion size, way more calories than our body needs, creating a stress to process it. The nutrients aren't there. They're energy depleting, right? And they're actually wasting it. How many times do you eat something and you feel like lethargic afterwards? You don't feel good. You feel over full. And that happens a lot during the holiday season because we're going to parties and there's cookies and snacks and all these things. And you go and you load up and you eat way more than you need to. And one of the biggest things here is sugar. Sugar, the silent killer. Look at all the things that sugar affects. Who wants to gain more weight? Okay, nobody. Good. Who wants heart disease, diabetes, cancer? All right, good stuff. Who loves depression, low energy, aging faster? Nobody. Sugar does all those things, right? So if you want these things to happen in your life, eat a lot of sugar. Eat a lot of cookies. Eat a lot of candies. Right? Eat a lot of sugar-laden foods because that's exactly what's happening. And sugar is very addictive, right? They've actually shown that sugar is just as addictive to your brain as things like cocaine, heroin, majorly addictive things. And we've all been there before, those sugar cravings that are there, right? But your brain is neuroplastic, which means that can change. So habits actually change the function of your brain. Although it may be addictive, if you stop eating it for a while, that goes away because your brain adapts. So the key to getting rid of sugar is to eliminate it, right, in all its sources. Because when sugar goes up, other things start to happen as too. Check this out. During the holidays, people gain 500% more weight per week than any other time of the year. Yeah. And the average weight gain is about 4 pounds during the holiday season. So for anybody that doesn't gain a pound, well, that's 8. Someone that loses a couple pounds, well, that's 10 or 12, right? And most people don't lose that weight. It kind of just stays there. And so they actually get more and more and more over time, which is why half of our population is considered either overweight or obese now. And that's not something about what you look like. That's stress on your system, right? It's the stresses compounding that lead to that. And sugar isn't just sugar. These are just some of the other forms of sugar that are in your food. We couldn't list them all up here because there's so many. There is a ton. And sugar's in everything, especially the processed foods, because it tastes good and it's addictive, right? So the purpose of the food companies is to sell you more food, right? That's what they do. And there are all these giant conglomerates that their whole goal is to provide you food. Not nutrition, not health, right? It's not about what's best for you. It's about what's cheapest, mass producible, and what they can make the most profit on. That's what it's all about. And that's 90% of the food that's in the store. The stuff that you're buying that's natural and organic, they're not making a killing off that. The grass-fed beef, the farmer makes like, $1 a pound, $2 a pound, right? But the cheap, toxic, unhealthy meat, they're making way more. Mm-hmm. And so remember to spend that money on the healthier quality food because it makes a big difference for your health. And avoid sugars as much as possible, right? All forms of sugar. This is going to be your high fructose corn syrup. This is going to be your artificial sweeteners. It's going to be any forms of sugar, anything that has oats on it, right? All these different things. And you can easily look for this if you just check the ingredients on the back of things. It's going to have all those things listed in there that you want to be able to avoid. And if you're not sure what it is, try to avoid it. Good holiday tip, if you're going to a party or something, eat before you go out, right? Don't have the stuff around, because if you have it around, you have that box of cookies, well, willpower is going to fail at some point. You're going to have a couple of cookies, right? If you have the stuff in the house all the time, you're constantly relying on that willpower. And that's not effective, right? That's not a good plan, because we're all going to fail. It's at the end of the day, you had some stress, it's right there, boom, easy to have. So what you want to do is you want to eliminate it. Get it out of the house, right? You're likely not going to get up and drive all the way to the store because you want to get a cookie. That's a lot more work. And inherently, our bodies are designed to be lazy. So you're likely not going to do it. But if it's just right there, easy to do. Easy to do when you show up to someplace too. If you show up hungry, You maybe don't want to eat those things, but I'm really hungry. You're just going to take what's available. So set yourself up for success. You'll notice a big difference. So we can also balance sugar with the types of foods that we eat or the types of foods that we avoid. So these are the top 5 health-destroying foods that you want to avoid. You want to write these down. Number 1 is sugar in all its forms, because that's the absolute worst. That's the anti-nutrient. Just getting rid of sugar will revolutionize your health. Processed foods. So these are going to be all your ultra-processed foods. Bag of chips, SpaghettiOs, whatever it is, right? You know what these things are. They're definitely not healthy. The ingredients list is like this long with half the words that you can't pronounce, right? Those are the processed foods that you want to avoid. Refined carbohydrates, right? This is the biggest source of sugar for most people. This is your breads, these are your grains, this is your oatmeal, toast, sandwiches, pasta. All these things are refined carbohydrates, which as soon as they go into your mouth, start breaking down into sugar in your bloodstream. They've shown that eating a piece of bread will raise your blood sugar faster than a candy bar because of how it turns into sugar. Right? So it's not just the sugar itself. Fried foods are typically done in unhealthy rancid oils, which create all kinds of problems. So you want to avoid fried foods. And then artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners are almost worse for you than sugar because many of them are neurotoxins. Many of them have toxicity that's going to disrupt your liver, or it's going to disrupt your digestive system, or create other problems in your gut. So you want to avoid the aspartame, you want to avoid the equal, and the sweet and low, and the sucralose, and all those artificial fake sugars that are in diet sodas and non-fat foods, and these seemingly healthy foods that are promoted to people are worse for you than the sugar-laden foods. Right? So going diet isn't a better alternative. You want to go with the natural form of what these things are. So one of the things that helps absorb sugar is fiber. So if you're going to eat an orange, for example, the orange itself has fiber. But if you drink orange juice, there is no fiber, so all you're getting is the sugar. I mean, if you make orange juice, you use like 10, 15 oranges to make one little cup of orange juice. So now you're getting like 40, 50 grams of sugar in one cup. And when it's in a liquid form, there's no fiber, it immediately spikes your blood sugar like crazy. So apple juice, orange juice, all the sweet fruit juices are full of sugar and are not healthy for you. They are not at all, right? Going to get a smoothie at Jamba Juice could have 140, 180 grams of sugar in one smoothie. That's insane, right? You don't want that coming in. It's okay to eat an orange or to eat an apple or a kiwi or whatever because you're getting the fiber, and the fiber helps your gut absorb and digest the sugar. But drinking sugar is one of the worst things that you can do, which is why soda is so bad. All the other stuff that's in there is bad, but really it's just the direct sugars. Poof. Easiest way to gain weight, drink sugar. Right? So that's why you want to eat fiber-rich foods as much as possible, which comes from healthy grains, which comes from different types of vegetables, especially cruciferous vegetables are really good for you, lots of fiber, raw sprouted nuts and seeds. So there's lots of forms of fiber that help your body balance blood sugar. We also really want to pay attention to the oils and fats that you use. This is so huge. Most fats that are out there now, especially again, the healthy ones, the canola oil, the sunflower oil, the safflower oil are the most horrible rancid oils for your body. They cause problems in your cardiovascular system. They cause problems in your gut. They damage your liver. They damage all parts of your body because it clogs everything up, because it becomes oxidized, and it's a toxin. It's a processed oil. So you want to avoid all of these. And they're in a lot of these foods. You turn over a bag of chips, it says canola oil, it says safflower oil, it says sunflower oil, cottonseed oil. All these things are all in there, right? That's why eliminating the processed foods takes care of most of this. One of the primary fuels for your body is fat. Fat is good for you in the right form. So you want to get a lot of things like olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. These are all healthy fats. You can cook with these, you can put them on things, and healthy fat actually tastes good. Right? So you can start replacing these damaged, unhealthy oils. Any vegetable oil, hydrogenated oil, corn oil, all these things horrible. So if you have that, a big thing of like yellow corn oil, that has the heart symbol on it, throw that thing away, right? Any oils you have in there that are not, it should just say like avocado, olives, coconut, right? That should be the ingredients. Like that's it. You don't want a bunch of junk in there, right? you look at these other ones, they're full of that. So switch out your oils. Throw out all the bad, nasty oils. Get whole food, cold pressed, organic oils only. Because you're going to get the best source of oils. And you can do everything with those. You also want to pay attention to the meats that you eat. Really, really important. Right? Because now we're trying to get healthy sources. But if your meat was fed unhealthy food, that goes into you. Right? Cows, for example, are designed to graze and eat grass. They started feeding cows grains because they get fat twice as fast and they get bigger. So what happens to you? You eat the same thing, you get fat twice as fast, you get bigger, and then the cows get sick because they're not supposed to eat this. So now they're giving them antibiotics, they're giving them hormones, they're giving them vaccines, and they're not giving them like healthy organic grains. No, they're giving them GMO sprayed, nasty, horrible grains. So all this toxin goes into them. They're fat and unhealthy. They're fed a bunch of medications, and then you eat it. How healthy do you think that is?
All bad.
All bad. All bad stuff, right? So traditional steak, whatever. And even worse than that now is the farm-raised fish. So you're thinking, oh, I'm making a good decision. I'm getting salmon. I'm out for dinner, right? And it's farm-raised. Horrible. They're fed the same stuff. They're fed corn. They're fed GMO. They're all kinds of stuff. They're so unhealthy they have to dye the fish orange to make it look like salmon. Right?
I've seen that.
What you want to get is Alaskan salmon is the best. The wild-caught sockeye salmon is the best because they're not in that water for very long. They spend most of their time in the fresh water and then they go to the ocean for a little while. Because the ocean, unfortunately, is toxic too. So you can get biotoxins and heavy metals and aluminum and mercury and all these things that's been dumped in the ocean over all these years. So you want to get fish in your diet, but you want to make sure it's wild-caught. You want to make sure it's from the Pacific waters. That's the healthier source of water for them to come in. If you're getting meats, cow products, cheeses, dairy, whatever, should always be pasture-raised, grass-fed, organic, because you're not giving them the shots and they're not giving them all the negative hormones, and they're in their right source. And you want to make sure that you're getting those all the time. So everything that comes from animals should also be good for you. And a lot of people are intolerant to dairy, so you may want to try sheep or goat milk or cheese. These are easier to digest for most people. And same thing with chicken or any kind of poultry. Should be free range. It should be pasture raised because now they're eating what they're supposed to eat. And just like us, if we eat the things that we're supposed to eat, we're pretty healthy. If animals eat the things that they're supposed to eat, they're healthy too. So we want to eat the healthy animals and animal products. So pay very close attention to the proteins because you need protein. Protein is essential, right? You need at least half your body weight of protein a day to keep your body working well. That's where you get a lot of the minerals and nutrients and amino acids that we need to thrive and go. You can't get those just from plant sources alone. You have to supplement these and get lots of fats as well.
You can. Broccoli is all the cruciferous vegetables, 50% protein, just like your meat, where chicken is only 25%. So you can get all your protein.
You can get proteins from there. There's certain ones you want to
And
get
nuts
from
as
me
well.
too.
So you can be vegan and be healthy.
So some things you want to look at as well is proper supplementation. Because even if we're eating healthy and doing a lot of the right things, you may not be getting the nutrient content that you need. Because food is not as healthy as it once was. Soil isn't as healthy as it was. It's nutrient deficient a lot of times, right? So what you used to be able to get from food is now depleted. So you got to make sure you're getting the right types of things, right? The ones that are most important is vitamin D, A, K, and E. You got to get these in on a regular basis. You need to get minerals in on a consistent basis. Things like magnesium and iron and calcium, right? These are things that our body needs to function well. And when you don't have these certain building blocks, systems don't work well. And it starts to take it from other parts of your body. It could take it from your bones. It could take it from certain organs. It could take it from other tissues, right? And that's how we get these degenerative diseases. So you want to make sure that your body's getting the nutrients that it needs, right? Especially this time of year, we need vitamin D because we're not in the sun very often. Right? You need 70 to 80% exposure for at least 20 to 30 minutes in the sun every day to get the amount of vitamin D that you need. And I don't know about you, I'm not getting that this time of year. Right? It's cold, it's dark, you're not going outside that often. So you want to make sure you're getting vitamin D in regularly. You want to make sure you're eating a good assortment of different types of foods because you're going to get different vitamins and nutrients from those things along those lines. You want to make sure you're getting omega-3 fatty acids, which is most common in fish and certain types of plant foods. Right? Most people get a lot of omega-6s, which comes mostly from the grains. And when that omega-6 level goes up, your inflammation goes up and other parts of your body are affected. You want B vitamins. B vitamins are an important part of your energy and your cellular function. Right? All these things are in the Daily Essentials pack. So one of these packs gives you all the essential nutrients that your body needs. Vitamin D, multivitamin, B vitamins, omega-3, magnesium. Right? When you're getting these things, you know you're getting the building blocks of healthy cells and tissue. I do these every single day. Right? It's very easy to do. It's a few dollars a day. It's less than a cup of coffee. And it's covering all the basics that you need for the health of your cells and tissues to keep your body thriving. So this is something you want to add to breakfast, lunch, or dinner, doing every day to make sure you're getting those essentials. That's why it's called the essentials, because you're getting the essentials that your body needs. You also want to make sure you're getting as much as possible organic and non-GMO, because these are just some of the food additives. There's actually over 3,000 different preservatives, herbicides, additives that are approved to be used for our food. And it's out there all the time. So if you're getting organic, if you're making sure it's non-GMO, which means that it's not going to be sprayed with glyphosate, which is one of the most toxic, damaging things to your gut, right? Creates leaky gut issues, creates immune system dysregulations. It's related to multiple different types of cancers. And all GMO foods are sprayed with glyphosate. So by avoiding GMO foods and getting organic, you're avoiding a lot of the chemical stresses, the toxicity that takes the nutrient value out of the food and kills the soil, so you're not getting the mineral nutrients that you need, right? Through organic farming, the soil is going to be a little bit healthier, and that's going to help quite a bit. You also want to look for ways to avoid toxin in your house. So we're indoors a lot more, and inside can be a lot more toxic than it is outside. 5 to 100 times more toxic indoors, especially this time of year. If you have any water leaks, you could get mold. If you have, you haven't changed out your filters in a while, you could get toxins and dust and all these things swished around your house through your central heating and air. And it's really existing in many areas. So we already talked about food. Get organic as much as possible. Get the natural meats, grass-fed, pasture-raised, cold water, wild-caught fish. Consume raw, organic dairy is the best form, because you want to get these enzymes that's in there. You want to get all the proteins and all the resources. So raw dairy, raw cheese, raw nuts and seeds, that's going to be the best. The pasteurization, the homogenation, all the heating up and cooking of these things kills all the good nutrients that you want and need. So you're basically just getting the fat and sugar and maybe fiber from those things, right? And maybe even toxins on top of that. And avoid is the processed food. So we talked about all these. Now you also want to start using healthier cleaning products, body self-care products. And I'm going to give you some links how to look for those, because a lot of those things that we're putting on our skin, that we're cleaning ourselves with, or cleaning our house or environment with, are also very toxic, right? If it says don't consume, call the poison control if you spill this on your skin, right? You don't want to be cleaning with that. You're breathing that in, right? It's getting on your food. It's absorbing into your body. You want to avoid these. You want to stop using as many plastics as possible. So don't use those plastic Tupperware containers. Don't use the plastic bottles. Don't reuse disposable water bottles, right? These all leak toxins into your liquids. If you heat up a plastic Tupperware, it's going to leach toxins into your food. So make sure that you're using glass as much as possible, or stainless steel, or healthier alternatives. And they're going to last a lot longer for you too. And cooking with same things as well, right? You don't want to use any kind of Teflon. So Teflon is a toxin. Yep, so that Teflon, you ever get in those Teflon pans, there's like little spots that are not there anymore, that chipped off? Right? They've known for decades that Teflon is toxic for you, but it's still available. Most countries have banned Teflon. You can't get it. Most countries have banned things like glyphosate. They've banned the microwave. They've banned so many things, but they're still okay for use here. And we're still using them all the time. So you want to avoid these things. So better off using stainless steel, or they're coming up with ceramic now is a lot better. So there's alternatives that are coming up, but if you still have that old Teflon pan, throw that thing away. It's leaching toxins into your body every single time that you use it. Start to filter out your air and water. So now's a good time, if you haven't done it, change out all the air filters in your HVAC system around your house. Change it out in your car if you haven't done it in a while. You're like, what is that? You've probably never done it, or maybe they bring it up when you go through your oil change and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. Change it out. right? Change that thing out, right? The ones in your house, the little paper ones, should be changed out like once a quarter, really, right? Minimum like once every 6 months. If it's been a year or more, you probably pull that thing out and it's got a layer this thick of dust on it, right? That's not good, right? That's being dumped back into you and redistributed into your body. That's another form of stress and toxicity that we just don't need. So here's some links to looking at your cosmetics and personal care products. And this is cleaning products. This is the Environmental Working Group. It's still one of the best apps and resources you can use to look at your products. So what you can actually do is you can go to the store. If you get this app on your phone, you can scan it here. You guys know how to use a QR code, right? Put the photo on your phone and it'll bring up a site for you. And what you do when you go on there, you go to the store and you scan the shampoo, or you scan the deodorant, or the toothpaste, or the 409, whatever, and it'll give you a rating of how toxic it is, and actually give you some healthier alternatives. Oh, why don't you look for the Nature's Essentials of this? Why don't you look at this kind or that kind? And so you start to learn when you're at the store, this, not that, right? And then eventually you can start changing out your stuff. At first it takes a little while as you're learning, but then it becomes normal, and you just go, oh, I'm gonna grab this one, I'm gonna grab this one, I'm gonna grab this one. And some of them take a little bit of a trial and error, and some of the natural products don't always work quite as well as you get used to it. So again, you got to try some different things out, but you certainly want to find the healthier alternatives. Because we could go through all these things and talk about how toxins they are, and how they cause cancer, how they cause hormone disruption, how they cause immune system dysregulation, how they cause leaky gut problems, and so many other issues. The easiest way is really just to avoid them as much as possible, and you got to know what they are to be able to avoid them. So if you haven't done this already, make sure you scan these, or you can go to the Environmental Working Group site. And this is an easy store, because I can't go with you to the store and say, oh, that one. Right? This is for you to have as a resource, so you can do that on your own, and you can share this with other people. And start scanning your stuff at home too, and see what you got, and see how toxic it is. And you want to start transitioning these things away. Because your body has a natural detox system. You have all these really cool organs here. Right? You have a liver, which processes toxins. You have a pancreas, you have intestines, kidneys, you have a lymphatic system, you have a spleen. You have all these different organs and systems that are designed to pick up toxins and eliminate waste and keep your body healthy like a filtration system. But if you're constantly clogging the filter and you never change the filter, well, those things start to back up over time. And that toxicity starts to spill over into other parts of your body. And when it gets bad enough, late, not early, what you start to see is the effects. So these are some of the signs of a high level of chemical stress, high level of toxicity in your body, in your environment, that your body's struggling with dealing with. So there's things like loss of energy, memory loss, depression, anxiety, restlessness, mental fog, a lot of mental issues, because these toxins can even get into your brain and is linked to things like dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all these things connected to toxicity of your brain, especially heavy metals, that are tough to get out. Right? So you want to avoid these things, but there's ways you can detox them as well. Right? Nausea, not sleeping well, allergies, skin irritation, skin problems is a big sign of toxicity. If you get eczema, you get psoriasis, you get rosacea, you get skin issues, that's toxins trying to get out of your body. Your skin's your largest organ. And if it can't get it out the regular way through elimination, then it's going to start going out through other areas. And you're going to start to see the effects of that. Also, chronic inflammation, body aches, pains, headaches, muscle stiffness, immune system problems, getting cold all the time, issues with vision or sound or irritation, all signs of toxicity. So minimizing these stresses with all things that we talked about is the first step. Right? Get it all out of there. And then secondly, you want to start to improve the health of these systems. A part of that is nutrition, eating the right foods. Cruciferous vegetables was mentioned. That's really good for your immune system, and it's good for your gut. Many of those are natural detoxifiers, things like garlic and broccoli, and these things that exist in nature already in their healthier organic forms are helping with this detox process. Drinking lots of water, healthy water that's been filtered, because you know they put a bunch of toxins in our water. They put chlorine in there, they put fluoride in there, other things leach into our water. So you want to have a good water filtration system that filters a lot of that stuff out. And typically just like the fridge filter isn't enough. That's just charcoal. You're going to get some of the big stuff out of there, but you're not going to get the little things. You're not going to get the heavy metals, you're you're not going to get the fluoride, you're not going to get the most toxic things. So you want to have a more powerful water filter, especially for your drinking water, ideally for as much water as possible. Right, again, making an investment in these types of things and getting a good water filter and getting good products for yourself is going to help with your health journey. And these things start going away over time as the systems get healthier and do their job more efficiently. Another thing is you got to change your filter, right? That's what detoxing is. It's changing your body's filter. And there's certain nutrients that in higher levels can help with detoxing. So that's what the daily detox does. This detox system, the cellular detox, goes through and blocks a lot of the pathways of toxicity. It improves things like glutathione, which is your body's natural detoxifier, superoxide dismutase. It has things like milk thistle, which help the health of your liver and help it function better. Magnesium, which is helping with the other systems of your body and helping those work well, helping your gut work well and healthy. And there's a body toxin. This is a binder. This is really important. This is helping with elimination. So binding to toxins throughout your body is a great way to help get them out, because a lot of times they float freely in your body and they can go attached to other areas. This is how it gets to your skin or how it gets to your brain or your heart or other parts where you don't want it. Binders help with that, right? This also helps if, it is the holiday season and you're not eating as well and you want to make sure it doesn't seep into your body, or you're going on vacation, right, where you can't always control what's going on. Well, you want to have some detoxers. So that way you can actually do some binding to these things and it's not getting into other parts of your body. So detox system is a really good one to do right now to get those toxins out of there. So if you haven't done a detox in a while, it's been a few months, you've been experiencing some of the effects we just talked about, or you just want to make sure that your systems are working well. I try to do this every quarter too, because I want to make sure my detox organs are all working well and effectively. That's just part of functioning optimally, changing out the filter. So if you haven't done this in a while, make sure you grab this detox system. It's a 30-day system, goes through step by step on everything you need. Another thing that helps with detoxing and just overall health is exercise. Exercise has so many physiological benefits. We're designed to move. That's what's normal. Right? So if you're at a state where you can't move because you have too many health issues or too much chronic pain, or you're not making exercise a priority, or this time of year you kind of fall off track because you used to go outside and walk and now it's too cold, or it gets dark earlier, or you used to go play pickleball but now it's raining, or whatever that is, you got to find ways to keep yourself moving and keep yourself active, especially if you have like a sedentary job. You sit at a desk all day, you have some kind of repetitive stress, you got to get your body moving. And we know that it reduces stress. It releases positive endorphins, right? How good do you feel after you exercise? You feel better because it's increasing good hormones in your body. Serotonin, dopamine, adrenaline, epinephrine, these things are going up. These are good hormones that make you feel good and it actually reduce the effects of stress. So having a bad day, go exercise, right? So we want to replace bad habits with healthy habits, right? Before you would maybe eat a tub of ice cream and watch Netflix, go for a walk, right? There's different things that you can do that help your body deal with stress. In just the same way you're tired, don't have an extra cup of coffee, go exercise for 20 minutes. Your energy will be up, you will feel better, you'll be more alert. So these are healthy habits you want to get in. It also increases your insulin sensitivity, which means you're going to absorb the sugar better and your metabolism is going to improve. It helps your detox systems, and when you sweat, when you work out hard enough, you're actually getting toxicity out of your body when you're sweating and you're getting your heart rate up. It's good for your cardiovascular system. It reduces things like heart disease. We know it reduces things like cancer because it increases oxygen to your cells. And when cells have oxygen, it's preventing cancer from happening. So all kinds of physiological benefits happen for exercise, and it works good in any form. One of the best times is to do it in the morning. Because if you get up in the morning and you do it, you're starting your day off well. You're priming the system for moving. So you want to have some type of movement. So I like to do my spinal home care in the morning. I do some other exercises in the morning. I actually go in an infrared sauna a lot of times in the morning, which is very similar to exercise cardiovascularly because it's heating your body from the inside out. Or you maybe want to go for a walk or do some activities. A rebounder is really good, like a trampoline. Gets your blood going, gets your lymphatic system going. Right? These are good things to do in the morning, and 150 minutes a week, which isn't a lot. Right? If you divide that by the days of the week, there's 7 days, so that's like 20 minutes a day, basically. Right? 65% improvement in the quality of your sleep. Right? So if you just exercise for 20 minutes a day, you're going to be sleeping better, your your physiology is going to be better, your immune system and digestion is going to be stronger, you're going to be detoxing better, and you'll be a lot less stressed. So add exercise into your daily routine. Very, very important. And find what you enjoy, because you're more likely to do what you enjoy. Right? You don't want to go through the dredging hour treadmill workout that you hate. You're not going to be consistent with that. You want to do something that you enjoy, but that is challenging for your body too, because just a light walk isn't enough. It's good to move, but you got to put some resistance on your body, because one of the best ways to stay healthy long term is maintaining muscle mass. Right? They found that neurodegeneration happens the quickest when your muscle mass starts going down, especially older age. Right? When you start getting sarcopenia, where muscle wasting starts happening, the brain and nervous system starts to degenerate too. So keeping up muscle mass is going to improve your metabolism, you're going to lose more weight, you're going to have more energy, your digestion will be better, your immune system will be stronger, and you'll have much better longevity. So add that into the stuff that we're doing, right? And that really helps your body adapt to what's going on. There's also physical stresses, right? So physical stresses exist in macro traumas. So maybe we're, putting up decorations and you trip over the rug and face plant. Maybe you're walking the dog and the dog takes off and drags you down the street. Or you get in a car accident in a busy parking lot because people aren't paying attention and they nail you, or it's wet and someone swipes into you. Right? There's all types of accidents that can happen. Or maybe you played football in high school, or you fell off your bike, or you had a skiing injury, whatever it is. Right? You have these macro traumas. Macro traumas causes a lot of damage, and if that's not repaired properly, it can create issues. One of the biggest issues it causes is what's called subluxation. So traumas to your spine can shift things out of alignment and create a negative feedback pathway between your brain and your body. You may not always feel it as physical pain, because we only feel how much? 10%. Right? So if you had a physical trauma that damaged your spine and nervous system, but you didn't feel it, is that healthy? No. But if you didn't know to look, you would never know. And it starts this process of breakdown. Within just 2 weeks of damage to a joint of the spine, the degeneration process starts. But we can't see that on an x-ray for 8 to 12 years. And you may not even feel the pain for even longer than that. I see it all the time. People are like, oh, I just started having this problem last week. And we look at their x-ray and they have 20 years of damage to their spine. Right? Like, oh yeah, I had a car accident back then. Or, oh yeah, I fell off my bike, I flew over the handlebars, and I never got it checked out. Right? And all that time it took before you really noticed it. Even worse is the micro traumas, because these are things that you do every day. How much time do you spend on your cell phone per day? What does cell phone posture look like? Right? Is it like perfect? No, it's like this. Right? Look around right now, everyone's like this. It's crazy. What does computer posture look like? Right? Especially all the people working at home. Where's their work desk? Your kitchen table, your coffee table, your bed, right? There's no good setup. And so your posture is constantly damaged. Maybe you do a job over and over again. You have some kind of repetitive stress that you're doing. You're constantly bending over. You're lifting all the time. Right? These are micro traumas that, compounded over time, create issues to your health as well. They can still shift things out of alignment in your spine. They can overwork muscles, tendons, and ligaments. They can cause degenerative damage to the different joints of your body. And again, you don't feel this. You do it day to day, or you get used to it, which is even worse. Oh, my knee's just a little bit sore. My elbow's a little sore. My shoulder hurts a little bit. My neck thing comes and goes. But you never really address it, and you do the things to feel better. Maybe it's ibuprofen or Tylenol or muscle relaxers. Maybe you get a massage or you stretch every once in a while. You feel a little bit better, but it doesn't really take care of the problem. Because until you really address the real cause of the problem, the issue won't get better. It just can't. You got to go through and correct the cause. And the biggest cause of physical, mental, and neurological problems is subluxation. Subluxation is when your spine is shifted out of its normal alignment. That's the first thing, a joint misalignment. Your spine has a specific structure to function ideally, right? It should be straight. We take an x-ray of you, everything should line up right on top of each other. From the side, you should have these supportive curves, because your head is heavy. Right? If you look at all the strongest structures in the world, they're all arches, they're all curves, right? Because that's what is creating the best support. So your head should actually be back over your shoulders with a 40-degree curve. How many people have that? How many people you see walk around like this? Right? If it's supposed to be like this, and it's like this, is that good or bad? Bad. Are these the healthy people? No, never. Always got problems going on. These are the healthy people that live a long time. So you should have these curves in your neck, your mid-back, your lower back. Number 2 is you have all these things that move and support your spine. You have muscles and tendons and ligaments that attach to different parts of your spine. Well, when you injure yourself, those get injured too. And you can get altered functions. Ligaments can get too long or too short. Tendons can get over tight. You can develop scar tissue, fibrosis, right? And they become unhealthy tissues, which means they don't move very well. They're really stiff. They're not as strong. They're not as resilient. So they get injured more often. Every time you do something that's stressful, boom, it hurts, right? Because they're not able to support what's going on with you. And for many people, the muscles and these things are working so hard just to maintain their posture that it's draining all your energy. If you had to use 2, 3, 4 times the amount of energy normal just to stand up, there's not much left for the other parts of your body. So that's why we got to take care of the tissues around the spine too, which is why we give you home care and we do therapeutic exercises and strengthening, right? Because we got to rehab these tissues to get the spine healthy. Eventually what happens is you get nerve irritation, and that's the real big deal with subluxation. Subluxation isn't a joint problem or a back issue. It's a nerve problem, right? And as we know, those nerves are what regulate the health and function of the rest of your body. So when you have uncorrected subluxation within 6 weeks, it starts affecting the nerves. If it takes you 5 to 10 years to feel it, but within 6 weeks it's causing nerve irritation, what's happening to whatever's connected to that nerve? Getting better or worse? Yeah, is it functioning closer to your optimal or closer to dysfunction and disease? Exactly. But if you just judged your health on that 10% on how you felt, you would never know that. If you just went to the chiropractor on your insurance who never took an x-ray and never had a plan for fixing the problem, you wouldn't know that. Right? If you just dealt with the effects without addressing the cause, you wouldn't be fixing the real problem. And over time, you're going to get joint fixation, which leads to arthritis, degeneration, lack of mobility, disc damage. Now we're getting radiculopathy, sciatic pain, nerve pain, numbness and tingling into the hands. That's nerve compression, which comes from joint fixation. And what this is, it's a stress to your body. It's a stress to your nervous system. Subluxation is stress. So what does that do? It takes your body out of the healthy normal adaptation and into a state of fight or flight stress. So you see how all these things compound. And this can all happen under the surface without you feeling it. Because you have to lose 40% of function before you notice it. Sometimes after macro trauma, you know, right? You have a fall, you have an injury, it hurts. You know it. But the micro traumas you may do day in and day out and maybe subtle enough to where you don't really notice it or you get used to it, and that's the most damaging. Until eventually you're poof, way down here with the major problem. You can't get up, you can't move, you start losing function because finally it got bad enough that your body couldn't deal with it anymore, right? Remember that stress response? These are all things that are happening. So subluxation is not just a nerve problem, it's a health problem because it's causing all these things. It's constantly increasing stress hormones in your body, regulating through your blood and nervous system. So you're not sleeping as good. Your blood pressure goes up. Your inflammation goes up, right? Your connective tissues get weaker. Inflammation happens more. All is happening because of subluxation. In other parts of your body, it's not just your spine. Your nervous system connects to everything, which is why the spine is so important, why I love what I do, and I'm going to get adjusted for the rest of my life. And that's the first thing I do when I have a problem. Let's make sure the source is good. And then we look at everything else. Right? It all comes from there. So when we look at being healthy, we reduce the stress. We eat better. We exercise more. We avoid all the chemical stresses and toxins. We avoid these physical stresses as much as possible. Right? Don't use your cell phone as often. Work on better posture. Fix your ergonomic station. Take care of your spine and nervous system. Do preventative spine strengthening and mobilization exercises. Get adjusted regularly. All these things are reducing stresses on the system. And what happens is it increases your tolerance to stress, right? When you're healthy, you can handle a lot more stress. You can deal with physical stresses. I can have a hard day. I can chop wood for 5 hours. I can go on a hike and be okay, not sidelined for the next week. Because my body has a strong amount of tolerance, right? I can be exposed to things and not get sick, right? You can have stressful times and it doesn't break things down. But when you let those stresses creep up and your adaptability goes down is when the issues start arising. So we want to work on both. right? That's why it's a healthy lifestyle and active work on the health of your body. That's what leads to that optimal. And how long should we do that for?
What's your life?
Rest of your life. Yeah, that makes so sense. Is you do it forever because you want to be healthy forever, right? We all want to live long, healthy lives. So you don't just do it till you feel better or until it's not convenient anymore. You do it all the time, right? Because the nervous system helps you adapt to stress. That's what it does. That's like the whole purpose of the nervous system is it's adapting to stress all the time. And that's happening based upon what's going on around you. So when you have subluxation, it creates an inability, an interference with your body to be able to adapt to stress. So no longer can your body adapt the way that it needs to. And the longer it's there, the worse that adaptability gets. So even if you're doing healthy things and you're eating good and you're exercising and you're avoiding the stress and toxins, but you still have really poor adaptation, you're still going to have health problems. You're still going to have issues. Maybe not as much, but there's still going to be problems, which is why we got to be doing both. So we look at the power, even a single adjustment, right, and what it does to your nervous system. It decreases the stress response immediately. That's why a lot of times after you get adjusted, you feel better, and you feel more alert. Right? Many people, even after a single adjustment, I've noticed they're sleeping better. They have more energy and more focus. Over time, you notice a lot of these things too, and that things just work better. Because your nervous system is getting healthy and your body's getting out of that stress response to a more balanced adaptability. Right? So we look at these things here. The parasympathetic response improves healing, hormone balance, immune system function, sleep and mood, and relaxation. And these things increase when you get adjusted. So we're actually increasing all the positive nervous system responses and decreasing and down-regulating all the negative stress responses in a single adjustment. Because what that's doing is it's stimulating the brain and nervous system. It's removing that interference to that nerve system communication out to the body, and things start working better. Pretty cool, huh? Even if you don't notice an immediate change, the purpose of the adjustment isn't to feel better. If you have really bad back pain this day and you get adjusted and you don't feel better, that doesn't mean it didn't work. It just means that your body's still way down here. Right? You need to do more work to get back up to here where that can go away. If you have really high adaptability and you have some soreness and you get adjusted, you may feel better right away because your adaptability is already really good. But if you're down here and all these things are unhealthy, it's going to take some time to get things healthy again, right? So you got to be patient. We're so used to this immediate gratification culture. Oh, I take this and I feel better right away. Or I get this and I get better immediately. It's not about feeling better immediately. It's about getting better. And over time, all the positive benefits come with that too. But so powerful what happens in a single adjustment. And this is what's so important to understand. So fact check. If I feel good, I'm healthy. True or false?
False.
Yes. So important to understand. That's right. Is all these healthy things just for you when you're feeling bad? Is chiropractic just for injured and back pain patients?
Nope.
No, it's for everybody, which is why your kids should be getting adjusted, your spouse should be getting adjusted, your whole family should be getting adjusted if you want to be healthy, because that's where it all starts. So what is health? Is it how you feel or how you function?
How you function.
It's how you function. So we want to be able to measure function, which is why we do exams and x-rays and nerve scans and functional tests, because it's measuring functioning in your body. And if you know what's functioning and what's not, you can fix the problem by addressing what's causing it. That's why all those tests are so important, right? So we continue to do those throughout your care here in our office, and we have resources for additional testing for looking at these systems as well, so you know how things are functioning, right? Because I would like to know how things are functioning so we can have a better plan versus just hoping for the best and reacting to the problem later on down the line. So if you're doing a health test, you want to do health tests that measure function, not just symptoms or effects. Just measuring your blood pressure is measuring a symptom. Just measuring your cholesterol is measuring a symptom. Just measuring your blood sugar is measuring a symptom. It's not measuring function and cause. We know there's a problem over here, but it's not telling you why. That's what medicine does. That's why it doesn't work. Getting healthy over here is measuring the function of why it's not working, and then we fix that, and then your body heals on its own. Right? That's the premise of chiropractic and natural health. And your nervous system controls all this. That's why it's the foundation. And nature doesn't need help. We were intelligently designed to be healthy and thrive, and that's what's normal. And that's what we want to focus on. And so when you look at this sheet here, you guys all have this in your packets. There's a couple of cool resources in here. We're going to talk about this in just a second. This is the Health Restore program. This is looking at the other systems of your body. This is testing your stress response, that HPA axis we talked about, your hormones, everything that controls metabolically how your body adapts to stress is this test here. We're going to talk about this in just a minute. Super important for understanding how things are functioning. There's also some 5 essentials tips here. Some of the things that we talked about, the daily essentials, things to eat, right? Avoiding the worst foods, increasing the fiber, getting some sun exposure, avoiding the damaged fats, getting some healthy sleep and mindset, just the basics, right? If you just did the basics better, you would be better, right? We want to focus on the basics. And then it has the daily essentials, which is a different formulation for men and women. And this sheet here talks about the effects of subluxation. This is really cool. When you start to understand how your body works, you can take more active approach. So if you look in this middle column, you actually have 24 segments of your spine. And each segment controls something different in your body. So if you look at each one, it shows you which part of the body is connected to that portion of your nervous system. So like C1, for example, controls the sympathetic nervous system. Super important. Right? That's your nervous system right there. That's your brainstem. That's where it all starts. All the things like your blood pressure and your heart rate and your respiration and your immune response start right up there in that upper cervical area. And most people, their most common subluxation is the head forward, loss of curve, which is why the most common symptoms that in America is headaches, fatigue, poor sleep, everything that is an effect of subluxation of C1. Crazy. Millions, hundreds of millions of prescriptions are given for the effects of subluxation in this area, and most of these people are never told to go to a chiropractor. They've never had that C1 checked, and they've never had it adjusted to the point where it can actually be better. So as you go down, you're going to see different areas: eyes, ears, nose, throat. All the glands of your throat, your vocal cords, your neck muscles, your shoulders actually stem from the neck. Right? So if you're having problems in the shoulder, elbows, hands, arms, likely that's actually coming from your neck. Unless there was a specific injury to that area. Right? But maybe you never looked at that before. And as you go down, it goes to your heart and your lungs. It goes to your gallbladder, liver, stomach, pancreas, spleen, kidneys, digestive system. All the different parts are regulated. And what's this right side? This is the long-term effects. Right? So by the time you're feeling the right side here is when it's been going on for a while. Right? That's these effects here. Right? So your body gives you those warning signs. Remember we said listen to your body? So if you have issues going on and you're feeling headaches, your hormones are off, you got high blood pressure, your mood is off, you're not sleeping, you're getting numbness and tingling, you're getting chronic pain in your back or your neck, you're getting dizziness, digestive disruption, colds all the time, asthma, attention and focus problems, skin issues, you may have subluxation that hasn't been dealt with. So the first thing you want to do is get to the source, get to the cause. Right? That way we can actually address the real cause of the issue. And we look at how chiropractic is different than medical care. Medicine is about disease, diagnosis and treatment of disease. And they're really good at that. Really good. But when it comes to getting healthy, chiropractic is about life, a salutogenic response. We're about getting you better, right? What makes you live better, what makes you function better. And that's what happens over here, right? So that's the drug-free doctor that we talked about. And when it comes to diagnosing subluxation, to understand what's going on, we do a number of objective tests. So you experienced these when you first came in. We did a nerve scan. We looked at your posture. We looked at how your range of motion was working. We felt the parts of your spine and how they were moving. We took an x-ray. All these things are looking for those areas of subluxation. And your body tells us a lot. I can look at you and see, oh, your shoulder's high. Your head's this way. Your head's forward. Your hip's up. This is rotated. Right? We can see that your head only goes this far when it's supposed to go this far. Or that you can only go this far or this far. You can't bend all the way down. Right? We can see these things. We can feel like, oh, way more tension of muscles on this side than this side. Right? Those are all there, but you don't know. And if you didn't know to look for them, you wouldn't know to take care of it. And then an x-ray is the most important thing we do. In fact, chiropractors are the only doctors trained to detect subluxation. I hear this all the time. People are like, oh, my doctor took an x-ray and said it was fine. And then we look at their x-ray and it's horrible. Right? And you can clearly see what's going on because they're looking for a tumor. Right? They're looking for something that can be treated with drugs, shots, and surgery. They're not looking for subluxation. It's like, oh, you got a little arthritis in there. A little arthritis, that's not good. You're not supposed to have arthritis of your spine. That's not normal. Doesn't matter how old you are. Oh, you got a little bit of scoliosis. Your spine's just twisted and curved here. No big deal. That's a huge deal. Scoliosis can take up to 14 years off your life, according to the medical research that the doctors wrote. But they're not going to tell you that because there's nothing they can do to fix it. That's why you got to get to the right person to take care of it. Now, many of you here are already patients, so you get it. You're at some form, maybe you're in the beginning form of your care and we're just getting started on these things, or you've been coming in for years, right? You've been coming in for 5, 8, 10 years now, and you're keeping your health well. This is what you do to keep yourself well, and you don't have to go to the doctor, and you're not sick very often. You have very few issues, right? And it's actually shown that people who get chiropractic care as their primary care go to the doctor 80% less. 80%, right? And they spend only 30% of the average on medical care because they're sick less often. They feel better. They don't need surgeries. They're not on a bunch of prescriptions, right? That's what the medical research shows. So the best way to save money, to have more time and energy, so you can focus on what you enjoy doing, is to get chiropractic for the rest of your life and live the 5 essentials. I can't remember the last time I went to the doctor because my body is healthy. If I had a major emergency, I would go because that's where they're really good. But when it comes to getting and staying well, that's not the best place to go. So for those of you who aren't patients, the first thing you want to do is make sure you get your spine checked. Right? That's where it starts right there. That's your 5 essentials examination. So that's this sheet here in your packet. Right? So if you're a guest here today, which means you're not a current patient, we set aside times in the office this week for you to schedule your new patient evaluation. We're going to go through those 5 steps. We're going to talk about your health history, your health goals. We're going to go through, do your nerve scans, look at your body, look for these areas of subluxation, do an x-ray, and we'll actually have a plan of how we can take care of those issues. So that way you can make sure you're getting better. Now, for those of you that are here and maybe your husband still doesn't come in because he doesn't really believe in chiropractic or doesn't think it's beneficial, or you still haven't gotten your kids checked or whatever that is, make sure you schedule them as well because we want to make sure they're healthy. We don't want to wait till some major issue comes up, right? Make sure when they have to come in when they can't move or they tweak their back, putting the Christmas decorations away and they're coming in like this, like, oh, can you help me? Right, let's prevent that from happening. Let's get them in now, right? And most of our patients, when they get this, their whole family comes in, right? We are a family health office. And that's what we're all about. That's what I love seeing, is when multi-generations of a family are all embracing this, right? We have times where there's 3, sometimes 4 generations of families here in the office getting adjusted, right? The grandma's coming in and mom and her daughter and the new baby's in and they're all getting care and they're healthy. It's a healthy family. Right? That's what we're about. That's what we want for you guys there too. So make sure you're scheduling your family and getting them checked. That initial evaluation is usually $199, which is really cheap when it comes to doing these types of things. Where are you going to go get an x-ray for less than that? It's only $40 today. We do that so cost is an issue. There's no barrier to why you should be able to come in. Everybody has $40 in an hour to come in and do the initial evaluation. So make sure you schedule that so we can find out what's going on and have a plan for your spine, your nervous system, and be able to get well. And for those of you that are patients, the best thing you want to do, the patients that get the best results by far, never miss or move their appointments. If you're supposed to be here once a week, come once a week. If you're going to be out of town for a week, come in twice the week before, right? We give you exercises in home care. We do that for your spinal health, right? That's what strengthens all the things around your spine. So do your exercises at home. Even if you feel good, that's the best time to do them so you stay good. So stick with that. Make sure you get your progress exams so we can see and measure your function over time. Make sure you keep coming to workshops and implementing the lifestyle habits. These things are for you so you can learn how to implement these things in your life and change your health now and into the future. If you're looking at getting more answers, like I've already been doing chiropractic, but I want to look at my stress and metabolic systems. Maybe you're still having some issues, problems with weight gain, problems with immune system, problems with digestion, problems with stress, whatever these things are, there's tests that can find out what's causing this. The best test that we've found to look at everything is this SMT test. So it's a stress and metabolic profile that looks at that HPA axis and looks what's working and what's not. So we want to find the areas in your nervous system that aren't working, in your metabolic system. What is it, a digestive problem? Is it a toxicity problem? Right? Is it a hormone imbalance? Whatever that is, we can actually pinpoint these issues. It's an easy at-home saliva test. You don't got to go to a lab. There's no blood draw or needles. You take and put your saliva in these little vials throughout the course of the day. And then we get this information back and find out how stress is being affected throughout the course of your day. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. So we're actually measuring the stress response of your systems throughout the day. It's one of the best ways to find out what's going on. Because sometimes it's really high in the morning, or really low this time, or it's low all the time, or it's high all the time, right? So much information in just this one test, and find out exactly what's going on. So we're measuring all these different systems: digestion, inflammation, hormone, infections, metabolic systems, so much more. And what it does is you get a result like this, right? So this is somebody who their stress is high all the time. It's high all day. It's high when they wake up, high in the midday, high in the afternoon, high at night. This is an overstress, totally breaking down problem. Look at the problem: chronic pain, fatigue, depression, hormone problems. It goes on and on, right? Because they're just stuck in that fight or flight system. But we look at other people, and they have different types of problems. So this person has low all the time. So the stress isn't working like it should. It's low in the beginning of the day, thyroid problems, bloating, anxiety. A lot of times this can be like fibromyalgia type people, right? Because their body's not kicking into gear like it needs to. It's just stuck in this low level function all the time. Rhythm imbalances. We see this one here. Well, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, right? So we're still out of balance. Fatigue, depression, hormone problems, right? It just kind of goes on down the line. We don't want to treat all these things. We want to get to the cause, right? So that's what this test does. It gets to the cause of the stress and metabolic type issues. And this here is where we tend to start. This is CellCore. What this is a detoxification type program where we're actually starting to get the toxins out, getting in binders, getting in minerals. So we're getting essential nutrients that your body needs to deal with stress. And we're starting to get a lot of the toxins out of here, supporting cellular health, metabolic health. The stress response is all happening right in through here. And this goes through multiple phases, and there's lifestyle things that we do to get things back in balance. So when we're looking at this, we go through those 5 essentials, right? We talk about, okay, so based upon what's going on here, we need to make these lifestyle changes: morning routine, evening routine, how you exercise, what you eat, the things that you do, which changes your stress response, right? Talk about chiropractic care and how that ties in, how that affects your nervous system. We talk about supplementation and detoxification and what other systems are struggling and need to be improved. We go through all these things as part of that profile, and there's a plan on how to take care of each and every one of those things. It's an in-depth program, right? It would be considered functional medicine. We're actually taking care of you in a more natural way versus treating symptoms and effects. So this is another way to take your health to the next level, right? If you want to add on all the good things you've really been doing, measure that stress response and function, make sure you do that. So you'll get the test kit, take that home, you'll do those collections 4 times throughout the day, and you'll send that into the lab. Within a couple of weeks, we get those results back, and we'll sit down and walk you through exactly what you need to do. I'm really excited about this. Our goal here is to be the solution for natural health in our community. Like when someone really wants to get healthy, they're going to want to come here. And so that's why we have these resources, so we can find more and more ways to help people naturally through that process, right? Continuing to improve all the systems and things that we do here so that we would be able to get better. Because most people are stuck out here taking care of this when they're missing this, right? Our goal is to always get to this. And this is another way we can get to those underlying root causes and give you the solution that you need to actually get better so the problems go away too. Because that's what we really want, right? We want the problems to go away. We want to get to that optimal health, right? So you think about this, your problems will go away if you ignore them for long enough. Is that true?
No.
Is that true anywhere in your life?
No.
No. If you just ignore your spouse because they're giving you a hard time, is that going to get better? No, it's not. If you have a problem going on with someone at work and you just ignore it, is it going to improve? It's not. If you have a health problem, you ignore it, is it going to get better? Nope, it's not. In fact, it's going to get worse and it's going to compound. And the biggest thief of health is procrastination. I'll do it tomorrow. Some of you might be thinking that. Oh, that sounds really good. I'll start that next month. How many people are thinking that? Come on. I know you're thinking it right there. That sounds really good. I'm kind of busy though right now. It's the holidays. Next month I'm definitely doing that. Right? I'm going to go through my products. I'm going to check out those scans. I'm going to look at doing the test or doing the thing. You know what to have. You don't have to raise your hand. But you know you're thinking it. It crossed your mind at least. We've all said that to ourselves before. I'm tired. I'll do it later. Right? But what happens later? You don't do it.
Never
You don't do it. Right? Next week's busy too.
Yeah.
Next month's going to be busy too. Next year is going to be busy too, right? You're going to have the stresses of life going on in there, right? It's never going to be perfect, where you have nothing going on, all of a sudden you hit the lotto and you have all the money in the world, right? And you have abundant time and energy, so now I can focus on my health. You know what happens when most people get to that point? They let their health go, and they work their whole life to have time and money freedom, and they don't have the health to enjoy it. What's that worth? What would the richest person in the world, Steve Jobs at the time, right, when he's on his deathbed, he said, what do you want? I just want my health back. I want my health back. But no amount of money could buy that. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire. You can't buy your health back once you've lost it. So the best thing to do is invest in your health now, so you're not having to deal with regret later on down the line, right? Your health is what gives you the time and the energy and the focus, so you can create the resources and abundance in your life that you want. That's where it all comes from. So remember, take care of your health, invest in yourself, invest in your family, right? So take